Hello and welcome to the Hibiscus Tea Floral Block Mystery Make-Along. Well, the mystery's being cleared up now because you can obviously see what's going on. So, if you have done the high tea floral block, which was the first block in a series of 4 blocks and 4 extensions, you'll kind of know exactly what's going on. But if you've somehow stumbled upon this pattern and have no idea what I'm going to be talking about, I had to explain some of it in the text version, but you might just want to go onto Ravelry and also have a look at the high tea floral block. So the idea, which I thought I was being very clever about at the time, is to make 4 blocks. The theme is tea. Tea. The first one was called the high tea floral block. This one is the hibiscus tea floral block. The next one is the golden tea. If you know what golden tea is, don't give the game away, because obviously I'll be talking about that when we get there. So the third block in the series of 4 is the golden tea floral block, and the last one will be the green tea floral block. And the idea was to make 4 blocks, and that they would be the same size. So they are all 20, they will be, and the first one was 20 inches by 20 inches, or 50 centimeters by 50 centimeters. So the idea is that you'll have 4 blocks that will be exactly the same size, and you can use them as cushion frontispieces. So you can just sew the block onto an existing cushion cover, or you can make a back for it, okay? And obviously it will be squared off. But the idea is that you can also join your blocks. So, you can join up to 16 blocks, to make a blanket. So, for example, 4 blocks will be 1 meter by 1 meter, and so on and so forth. So you can kind of build up the size of your blanket as you wish, but that only applies to the blocks. The second part of this project was to make 4 extensions. So each of the blocks has 4 extensions. So I'll be doing the block, and then I'll be doing the extension. And at the end of that, you will have 4 throws. So if you do the 4 blocks and the matching 4 extensions, you will have 4 throws. However, they are going to be done separately. So the block, you'll purchase the block separately, and you'll purchase the extension separately. But the idea is that if you make the 4 blocks, you can mix and match. So you can mix different blocks you can mix block 1 with extension 4, and you can mix block 4 with extension 2, and you can mix block 3 with extension 1, and so on. Okay, so the idea is that you can mix and match your blocks, and you can make up to 16 different throws. And somebody suggested, always asking, can we join the throws? So if you had to join the 4 throws, that is the blocks with the extensions, and then you have your 4 throws, and then you join your 4 throws, you will have a 2.4 meter by 2.4 meter blanket. But no. Well, I'm not going to stop you if that's what you want to do. You can do that, but the idea is that the 4 throws will be very different to each other. So the theme will still be very floral, but the colors, the design, I'm going to be a bit experimental. So for example, I'll just get so for example, the high tea, if you haven't seen the high tea floral block, if you're just coming into this, is something like that, so very, 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 very dense in florally bits, and lots and lots and lots of texture. So this is going on to, so this is the high tea extension. But for example, if we are doing the hibiscus, you can always do the high tea extension and swap, so the whole idea is to mix and match. My advice has been that you should make the blocks first. So it's a year-long project. You know, I'm only making these 4 throws this year. I'm not doing anything else in between. So it is kind of a long-term project. And I hope I do finish by the end of the year, because it's taken much longer than I thought it would. Yes, so that is the idea, is that you would, my advice would be that you make the 4 blocks, and then when the extensions are released, you don't need to necessarily purchase all the extensions. You can just purchase 1 or 2 that you may like, that you may prefer to the others. So, you know, I'm also trying to kind of open up the design and the project, that, you know, you can have a little bit of fun and bring some, you know, of your personal preference into it. So it's not a hard and fast thing that you have to do. You know, there's leeway. And obviously also with the colorway is, mine is just because this is the yarn I can get where I am. So you know, my colors are very, very dependent on what is available in my neck of the woods. Okay, but you're not obligated to use a DK yarn. As I say, I'm using Starcraft Special DK this time. For the high tea floral block, I used the Hibiscus color crafter, which is, the colors are exactly the same as the Starcraft, and in fact the numbers are the same. So for example, this is the Starcraft Special DK, the lime, and the color crafter is for the same color, is called Nijmegen, and it has exactly the same number, 1712. So the shade number is exactly the same for Starcraft and for the color crafter. Okay, so, you know, if you're going to be using color crafter, just, you know, obviously in the written pattern, the text pattern, and also in the Ravelry page, down in the notes section, if you scroll down there, you'll see that I've added the numbers to the colors. So if you're in Holland, or you prefer working with the color crafter, then, you know, you've got the number as a reference for the color. Okay, so the other thing is that you can do it actually in any hook size, you know, as long as your hook is appropriate for your yarn. So if you're using, you know, fingering weight yarn, 4-ply yarn, you're going to go down hook sizes. If you're using Aran weight, you know, you're going up to chunky yarns. You're going to be using, you know, 5 or even a 6 millimeter. Not quite sure what that is in US terms. Okay, so for example, Sandra has done the high tea floral block and the extension to make the throw. She did with a 2.5 millimeter hook, and it came out, you know, small and like a small tablecloth, you know, something you would put as a centerpiece, as opposed to 1.2 meters by 1.2 meters. So gauge is not important. You can use any kind of yarn, any kind of weight yarn, and this pattern should translate just as easily as long as your hook size matches up. I think I've prattled on enough. For those of you who have done my patterns before, and you know that I have been complaining bitterly about my very, very noisy workroom, you will be happy, very happy to know that I have moved rooms. No, not house, because I did threaten at one point that I'm going to sell my house. But I have moved rooms, and if any of you have done the Amanzi, the block and the throw, that workroom that I was in, I'm back there again. So the downside of the room I'm back in is that it is a little bit darker and it's a bit more difficult to get some good light. So I've had to set up a bit of artificial light, even though I am working right by the window. This room does not really get sunshine until, or any real light, until about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. But the upside is that it's not street facing, and so it is much, 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 much quieter. So, you know, I've had to, you know, take the lesser of two evils. Because really, when we were working through the high tea floral block, it was insane, the amount of noise on my road. And for those of you who don't know, I live in a very urban area, very built up, very noisy, lots of arterial roads. There's sirens and dogs and people and motorbikes and construction and all sorts of things. And trying to create a peaceful oasis in all this you know, drama-filled neighborhood has been quite a challenge. Okay, so I really do think I've prattled enough and on enough now. So let's get to it. So my hook, I'm using a Knit Pro, and in fact, the hook I've been using through quite a lot, probably for about more than a year now. As you can see, the soft grip from the Knit Pro is actually worn. It's worn. Hey, amazing, really, isn't it? So, and this is really my favorite hook. I love this. I love the Knit Pro. I love this small, because of the way that I crochet. This just, you know, it fits really nicely in my hand. I just love this. Not so easy to get here. Anyway, so I found an orange one at my, it was the only one that was left, and this was at my local yarn shop, which luckily is only about a block down the road, 2 blocks down the road, called Mama Kos, and or Mama's Wool and Haberdashery. So that's why I got my Knit Pro, and this is what we're going to be using. Alright, so that is the end of the introduction. If there's anything I have forgotten, you can always pop into our group and ask any question you like there, and everyone will be on board to help you, so you're not going to be alone. Okay, so see you at round. Okie dokie, so we are on to round number 1, and round number 1 we're going to be using the colour graphite. Looks like that. They're very much like pencil lead. Okay, so I actually went along and bought 4 balls of these, because this is the colour that we're going to be using for these sections over here, you know, because we're going to create that sort of stained glass window. So now what I'm doing is, you know, people have asked me, dude, is this overlay crochet? Technically, no, it's more of a layered style. With overlay crochet, the whole idea is that you create a backdrop, and you're working into back stitches for that. So you're working into back loops, you know, you're working to the back loops, and so you have a much flatter, more condensed sort of effect. It looks a lot like embroidery. Okay, but this is more layered, you know, where, you know, literally there are things on top of other things and so on and so forth. I don't even know if it's a proper technique, but it's just the way I crochet. Okay, so now we're going to work a magic loop. So if you're an advanced beginner or an intermediate crochet, this will be puddle sticks for you. We're going to work 2 chains into our magic ring, and we're going to chain 1. Then we're going to work, so that's equivalent to 1 half double crochet, chain 1. So we're going to be doing 8 of these. Chain 1, so it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So remember, our first 2 chains is a half double crochet. Alright, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me just count. I can't really see so well in the slide. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I always check. even though I know I've done 8, I always check. Okay, and then I'm just going to slip stitch into that little back loop over there. Obviously, if you know a better way to do it, you just go ahead. A lot of people will do the invisible join here. For some reason I'm struggling. The problem with the dark colors, of course, is that you don't really get to see them as easily, right? So we're just going to snip off, right, and then you're just going to close your loop and you're going to work in your tails. Okay, so you're going to have 8 half double crochets and 8 chain ones. Alright, so I shall see you at round number 2. Okay, so for our round number 2, I've kind of gone ahead, but what we're going to be doing is we're going to be working 2 half double crochets into our chain 1 space from the previous round, and we're going to work a chain 1 in between. So we're going to work like that, 2 half double crochets, chain 1, 2 half double crochet. You can work around your tail from the previous round. So we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 and 16. So we've got 16 half double crochets, chain 1, and then I'm just going to work a slip stitch around that first half double crochet. In fact, I started with a chain 2, and chain 2 is equal to 1 double crochet. Okay, so what I do is just do an extra slip stitch, which is kind of the old-fashioned way, but if you want to do an invisible join there, then go right ahead. Okay, so that's round number 2. We have 16 half double crochets. The color we're using is the lime, and I shall see you at the next round, round number 3. Okay, so we are on to round number 3, and if you're wondering why it's so quiet around here, I've basically just sort of locked myself away. I put the dogs outside because it's a beautiful day, and hopefully I get to work in peace for a little bit. So now our third color is gold. Alright, and we're going to be working into that chain 1 space like so. So, whoopsie. So we are going to be working, sorry, we're not working into the chain 1 space, we're actually working between the half double crochets. I'm dreaming. We're actually going to make a chain 1 space between our puffs. Right, so I normally start with just a chain 1 just to get me going, and now we're going to work 2 yarn over times 3, chain 1 to close, chain 1, 1, 2, 3, okay, chain 1 to close. So it's yarn over times 3, chain 1 to close, chain 1. Then we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to work between our next 2 half double crochets. 1, 2, 3, chain 1 to close, chain 1, 1, 2, 3, chain 1 to close, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and one more time. 1, 2, 3, chain 1 to close, chain 1, 1, whoopsie, 2, 3, chain 1 to close, chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so you're just going to carry on like that. So you should have 16 puffs, yarn over times 3, chain 1 to close, and then you should have 8 chain 1s in between, and then you should have 8 chain 3s. And to finish off this round, you're just going to work all the way around, and then you're going to slip stitch into the top of your first puff and fasten off. Okay, so that will be round number 3, and I shall see you at round number 4. Okay, so we are on to round number 4, and your round number 3 should look like that. Okay, not with all the tails. If you've been very good about things, then you will have worked in all your tails, okay? Well, I haven't worked in my tails. So now, what we're going to be doing is, for round number 5, we're going to be going back to our graphite. And just a word of warning, if you hear some very odd sounds coming from your video, it's because I've now got both the dogs under my desk lying on my feet. And when they fall asleep they snore. So, okay, so now what we're going to be doing is we are going to begin with a chain 2 front post over any of our first of 2 puffs. Okay, so you can pick any one. That's the first one, that's the second one. You're going to work 2 chain front post equal to 1 half double crochet front post. Then you're going to chain 3, and you're going to yarn over and work another one over the next puff. Right? Now you're going to yarn over twice, and you are going to work that very next half double crochet from round number 1, like that. Right, and you're just going to work a treble like so. Then you're going to yarn over, and you're going to work another half double crochet front post. You're going to chain 3, yarn over, and again. Right, yarn over twice, and you're going to work another treble front post over your second half double crochet from round number 1. Half double crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and off we go. Yarn over twice. Okay, 1, 2, 3, yarn over, and I think the rest you can probably do right by yourself. 1, 2, 3, and half double crochet. Okay, so it's going to look like so. Right, show you up close. I hope that the light is okay. Really, I don't know. As I was saying, that I am in another workroom, and this one has the advantage of being much quieter than my other workroom, but the light is not so great. Okay, so that is your round number 4. So you're going to go all the way around like that, and then you're just going to slip stitch into the top of your beginning chain 2, which is equal to 1 half double crochet front post. Okay, and then I'm going to see you at the end of round number 5 and the beginning of round number 6. Okay, so you should have something that looks like this, which for some reason reminds me of a sea urchin. Okay, so I've gone and worked in all my tails, and well, not as neatly as I normally would, but yep. So that is round number 4, and now we're going on to round number 5. And round number 5, the colour we are going to use is our vintage peach. Okay. So now, so it's this colour. It's one of my favourite colours. Isn't it beautiful? Okay, so now we are going to be working popcorns into that chain 1 space between our puffs. Okay, so what you're going to do is just sort of, right, so you can do that, and we're going to be working into that chain 1 space over there, and we're going to be working in front of that chain 3 like that. Okay, so we're going to work. It's a nice simple easy round. Actually, it's all very simple and easy, and I'm not really doing any fancy stitches or anything like that. Okay, so we're working into that chain 1 space between our puffs. Right, so we're going to, so we start off with either a standing double crochet or a chain 3. I've started with a chain 3, and we're just going to, the first one is always a bit difficult. You're just going to grab that back loop, not sure if I got the whole thing, and then chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, yarn over, and 1. So just be careful that you don't catch that chain 3 at the back. You don't want to incorporate that. Right, and you're just going to work all the way around like that. Right, so you're just going to, there we go, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, as I often say in my videos, because I'm using acrylic for these designs, I'm taking into account that it has that sort of stretchy quality. But if you're working with cotton, you might want to, when you're doing chains and so on and so forth, you might want to add 1 or 2 chains if you feel that, you know, it's getting a little bit too tight. Okay, so where I've done 4 chains here, you might want to do 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, so very simple. Just working into that chain 1, making sure that you don't catch that. Oopsie. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Right, and off we go. Chain 1 to close, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just going to stop there. So now you're just going to carry on like that. So when you've finished your round, it will cup up like that. Your little popcorns are going to kind of sit straight up. Don't worry about that. So you're going to go all the way around. So you're going to continue that sequence. So you're going to finish off here with the chain 4, and then to close, you're just going to slip stitch, oopsie, into the top of your popcorn. So in the pattern I say slip stitch into the back of your popcorn like that. So where you've joined your 5 double crochets, you just slip stitch into there and fasten off. Okay, and then I shall see you at round number 6. Okay, so we are on to round number 6, and round number 6 we're going to go back to our graphite. Oopsie. So there we go. Alright, so again we just begin with a slip stitch, and now, so that's what I was talking about. You know, where your popcorns puff like that. Right. So, you know, that's absolutely fine. So now what we're going to do is we are going to work between our treble front post, okay? So now we are going to actually work a single crochet over that space. So do you see where it is? It's between your half double crochet front post over the second puff and your treble, and then we're going to chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we're going to skip over our treble and we're going to work a single crochet into that next space before our next half double crochet front post, that one. So be careful that you're not working into your chain 3s from your previous round, okay? Then you're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. So for now you can work in front of your in front of your popcorns. It'll just make life a bit easier. And then you're going to work single crochet like so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you're going to skip the treble and you're going to work into that next space, and you're just going to single crochet, then chain 3, 1, 2, 3, yarn over, and you're going to work a single crochet. So you don't want to get those chain 3s, and you also don't want to get those chains over there, okay? You just want to work into that space between your half double crochet front post and your treble. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So basically you just want to work into the same color. Okay, you're not working into any of the other colors. Right, single crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Right, so this is probably a good idea why you should work in your tails. 3, 4, 5, 6, because it might get, you might have a lot of tails in the way when you're doing these little finicky bits. Right, single crochet into the space after your treble, chain 3, 1, 2, 3. So I'm just going to stop there so I can show you, because I've probably been wandering all over the place. Right, so it's going to look like that. So you're going to have these loops like so. Right, you're going to have those loops. So you're going to have this chain 6 loop either side of your trebles, and you're going to have that chain 3 in between. And now you can just pop your popcorns when you're finished. That's why I said, it's fine to actually work in front of your popcorns. It just makes life a bit easier. And then you can just pop them to the front when you're ready. And then your loop is going to be behind, like that. Okay. Right, so you're just going to carry on like that. So what you should have at the end is you should have 8 chain 6 loops, and you should have 8 chain 3s, like that. And you should have 16 1 single crochets. Okay, so where you began and where you ended. Okay, but we don't really have to count those, because you have to make them to make your loops. So we can just count the loops, and we can just count the chain 3s behind the popcorns. Although, as I said, you can work in front of your popcorns, and then you can just pull your popcorns to the front like that. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. So when you've finished, you can, when you've gone all the way around, then you're just going to slip stitch. You can actually just slip stitch into that little space. You can kind of, where it's going to look neat is where if you just slip stitch into the top of that first treble, you can just slip stitch into there and fasten off, and then work in all your tails. Okay, so I'm going to see you at the beginning of round number 7. Okay, so now for our next round, round number 7. Now in my sample piece I actually used the pale rose, but in this piece I'm going to use the stone, right? But you can use pale rose but I'm going to use the stone, because we are going to be using the pale rose not too far off that. In the very next round we're going to use, sorry, so the number is 1710. Alright, and the colour is stone. So I rather like this colour. Right, so now what we're going to be doing is we are going to be working a puff into the top of our popcorn. I know, I'm totally mad. Now you don't want to work into that chain 3, right? So it's a little bit finicky. So what you're going to do is you're just going to wiggle your hook into that space, like right into your popcorn like that. So I've done this many times before in other patterns, so if you've done my other patterns, you'll know how to do this, but if you've never done it, then this is how we're going to do it. Right, so we're going to work yarn. Now I can't remember if I did yarn over times 3 or yarn over times 4 because I'm prattling so much. Okay, so now we've worked 1 puff, yarn over times 3, chain 1 to close, right? And then we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to work a single crochet into that space from our round number 3. Okay, so that was the chain 3s, right, from our round number 3. I just want to check that it was chain 3s. I can't, from 1, yes, chain 3. On chain 3. Okay, so we're just going to work single crochet. We're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Again, if you're using cotton, you can chain, whoopsie, yarn over. Just make sure you're going to the right spot. Using cotton, you can add an extra chain there if it's feeling a little bit tight. Alright, so we're just going to go, whoopsie, just moving the yarn, 1, 2, 3. So you can do 4 chains if you like, and you're just working into that chain 3 from round number 3, and then 1, 2, 3, so it's all the 3s. Chain 3, and then yarn over times 3, 1, 2, 3, like so, and then chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and just attach your chain 3 right into that chain 3, single crochet, and then 1, 2, 3, and we're back to working into that. So you're basically working over that joining space where you joined your 5 double crochets to make your popcorn. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and you just continue all the way around like that. So you should have 8 times single crochets, 8 times puffs, yarn over times 3, chain 1 to close, and you should have 16 times chain 2s. I mean, chain 3s. I'm just busy telling you that we are doing 3s and I'm saying chain 2. Okay, so it's going to look like that. Puff, chain 3, single crochet, chain 3, puff, chain 3, single crochet, chain 3, and so on. Alright, so when you come around, then when you do your final chain 3, you're just going to slip stitch into the top of that puff like that and fasten off. Okay, so that is round number 6. Is it round number 6? Oh no, it's round number 7 already. And I shall see you at round number 8. Okay, so I hope the light is alright. Okay, so that's why I'm showing you like close-ups and that. Alright, so I'm going to see you at round number 8. Okay, so I've gone on a little bit ahead. So the colour we're using now is our pale rose, and we're going to be doing that. So what you're going to do is you're going to begin with a single crochet into that chain 3 space, alright, that we did when we were doing our loops, and then we did that chain 3, alright, and then we pulled our popcorns forward like that. Right, so we're going to work single crochet. We're going to start with a single crochet into that chain 3 space. Then we're going to work 6 double crochets into our chain 6 loop. Then we're going to work a single crochet again into that chain 3 space, right from round number 6. Yarn over, and we're going to work a double crochet into our chain 6 loop. So it's 3, 4, 5, 6. So very easy round again, right, and then we're going to find our chain space and just work a single crochet, yarn over, and immediately work double crochet into our chain 6 loop. So 6 double crochets into a chain 6, so there we've got 6 and 6. Okay, so 4, 5, 6, and we're going to find our chain 3, there it is, and single crochet, yarn over, find our chain 6 loop, and continue 6 double crochets, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so nice and simple round, and your work's going to look like that. So whereas in the other pattern I'd actually done these little puffs in the same colour, I just wanted to change it up a bit. Not that there was anything wrong with that, but I just wanted to actually work in an extra colour. Right, so it's going to look like that. So you're going to have 8 times 6 double crochets, and you're going to have 8 times 1 single crochet, that one over there. And then to fasten off, you're just going to slip stitch into that chain 3, the beginning chain I'm going to say beginning chain 3, but where you began with that 1 single crochet, you're just going to slip stitch into that chain 3 and fasten off. Okay, so that is round number 8, and I shall see you at round number 9. See you there. Okay, so we are on to round number 9, and the colour that we're using here is our apricot. And now we're going to do something a little bit different. So we're not going to make puffs, but there are sort of puffs. Okay, little bean stitches. So what we're going to do is we are going to work a single crochet, 1 down. So where we had our graphite and we worked our single crochet into that, so we'll just go to that one. We're going to work it into the next. So these were the chains between our half double crochet front posts. Okay, I think round number 4. Okay, so basically where you had, if you're watching the video, and in the pattern I'm going to write that as the chains from round number 4, because they were the chains from round number 4. So you're going to work a single crochet, you're going to attach like that, then you're going to work a chain 3, and now you're actually going to work over your double crochets. Alright, so you're going to yarn over, and you're going to work, so this is called a bean stitch. It's basically like when you're working over another stitch, and you're going to work yarn over times 3. It's basically a sideways puff. Yarn over and chain 1 to close, and then again 1, 2, 3. So we're working over that next double crochet from our previous round, and the next we're going to work that, so we're working over our double crochet, okay, not between but over. So right, and again, so maybe you want to turn your work a little bit sideways like that. That might help. And there's no rush. I mean, even though this is a make along, and I've sort of put deadlines and dates and all that kind of stuff, you don't have to stick to them. You can just do it all in your own time, because everything will still be there when you need it. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, so we're working over the next double crochet. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, and the final one, 1, 2, 3. Okay, chain 1 to close, 1, 2, 3, and single crochet into that chain space from round number 4. 1, 2, 3. Right, is it chain 3? Yes, it is chain 3. And then the same story, yarn over and turn your work a little bit to the side. Just makes it a little bit easier to work over your double crochet. 1, 2, 3. Don't know why I'm having problems making puffs today. Goodness me. Yarn over and continue. 1, 2, 3, yarn over, pull through, chain 1, 1, 2, 3, and you're just going to continue like that. So it's really super easy, super easy. Right, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I don't really think I need to continue. I'm just going to pull that out so I can show you. Okay, so it's going to look like, see, there's going to be a dog barking. Gird your loins, ladies, there's going to be a dog barking. Okay, so it's going to look like that. Not quite sure what the light is doing. I really hope you can see what's going on here. Okay, so basically you're going to have, so this is called a bead stitch, and you're going to have 6 little beads worked over your double crochets from your previous round. Okay, you can pull them up a little bit like that. They kind of remind me of little candles or something like that, like a little flame, right? And then obviously you're going to work your chain 3s, and then you're just going to work a single crochet into that chain 3 space from round number 4. Okay, and you're going to work your way all around, so you're going to have 16 times chain 3s, and you're going to have 8 times 1 single crochet, and you are going to have 8 sets of 6 beads. I'm going to call them beads. Okay, so I shall see you at the end of this round, and when you work your last chain 3, so you're going to do, you know, a single crochet into your chain, into that chain 3 from your last round. You're going to work up here, you're going to do your bead, you're going to do those, so you've got your first chain 3s here and single crochet, so you're going to do your last one into, so you'll work your last little bead, then you're going to chain 3, and then you're just going to slip stitch into that chain 3 where we began. Okay, fasten off, and then you can work in your tails. Right, so I hope that is quite simple for you, because it is pretty simple. Okay, you just got to keep your wits about you when you're doing, if you've never done those bead stitches, you just turn your work a little bit sideways and then just work them over those double crochets. So that is the end of round number 9, or well, not the end, but that is round number 9, and I shall see you at round number 10. Okay, and again, if you have any problems with any of the stitches, please do join our group. And Nolene and Sandra and all the other ladies and other group members, we have a couple of guys as well. They will jump in and help you. Okay, so I shall see you at round number 10.